With the power of time travel, you head back to 2016, the final year for Bionicle G2, and you get to bring back 5 sets with you to the present day. So which 5 are you going to be picking? Well, here's my top 5 favorites from 2016, and some honorable mentions as well. Now, I've been told that sometimes my number 1 spot can be a little predictable, because I do like my Bionicle sets and I like to talk about them in other videos, especially the ones that I really love. Now, you might think the number 1 spot in this is going to be predictable because of that, but I'm telling you, it's going to take you by surprise. Alright, let's get into it. In the number 5 spot, I've picked Akimu the Mask Maker. I mean, look at this hunk of man. Now, normally I'm not a fan of too many translucent pieces in a Bionicle set, and sometimes, I think G2 sets actually suffered from having a little bit too many translucent pieces on them. And you could say that about Akimu here, but I don't know, it feels earned. The fact that Akimu has that trans blue mask now and his body is all trans blue, it looks like he's overcome with power. He's gone Super Saiyan and he's gained godlike immense power and strength, and that's showing through all those translucent pieces. So those colors, those regal shoulders, and this godlike hammer, everything just works on Akimu. It's funny, he has a lot of stuff that normally I'd be like, but Akimu makes it work, he's got style. And look, the original Akimu set, he already felt really grand. He was impressive, he was special. He was just a wee lad, and I always thought that was a little disappointing. I wanted him to have presence and grace and size, and now he does. His look fits that legendary status that he truly has. Plus, I think it's a really solid Toa design. It's really good, it's a great set. Now, still to this day, I don't own this set. I wish I did, because I totally would have bought this set when it was physically in stores. But to my knowledge, the final sets from the final wave of G2 sets, specifically the Beasts, Akimu the Destroyer, and Umurak the Destroyer, and Akimu, those sets specifically, they never came to Australia. Trust me, if they did, I would have bought them. I just never saw them, and I was actively looking for them. Although, if you're watching and you're from Australia, let me know if you ever saw them in Australia. I've spoken to people like Jafer and other people. They tell me the exact same thing. But yeah, man, this set had it all. Sadly, it also has an inflated aftermarket price, so yeah, I'm gonna have to save up a little bit if I want to buy this one. Or hopefully I can find it for a good deal somewhere. Somehow. Alright, in the number 4 spot now we have Umurak the Destroyer. Now, this is another set that just didn't come to Australia, but I managed to actually buy this one. Thankfully, I was able to tick it off my checklist. I got this off of my friend Matt Goldberg. I bought it off of him at the very first time I attended Brick Fair, Virginia. Now, Matt Goldberg, if you're not familiar with him, I featured his mocks on the Bionicle Inspiration series, another show that I have on this channel. He's a very talented builder. This is one of my favorite builds of his. So yeah, it's nice that I was finally able to get this awesome set, and even better that I was able to get it off of such a lovely person, and someone who's amazing at building Bionicle stuff. So yeah, the overall design here I think is just really top notch. I especially love this finger design, the fact that the gears there allow the fingers to pose and move with an interesting play feature, and they're just naturally posable as well because they're on those socket and ball pieces. And hey, giant clawed fingers like that, it just looks menacing and cool. It's perfectly fitting for the big bad evil villain. I do also like this interesting mask design that he had here. It's a bit of a different design, but it still looks really awesome, and that's something I like about some of these masks in this final wave of G2 sets. They feel noticeably different from your typical Bionicle masks. It's nice to have something a little bit refreshing like that. They're not my favorite masks by any stretch, but they're still pretty cool. Yeah, honestly, I think this is an underrated set. People don't really talk about this guy, but he's really good. Solid design, solid play features, great look. What's not to love? Now to the number 3 spot. This one goes to a very special set. It's Kopaka and Melum. Now, I thought this was great. I love a good 2-pack, and yeah, you got these 2 dudes in the one box, which was different from the other Toa and their individual creatures. All the Uniter sets, they came as individual packaged Toa, and then you could buy the Uniter beasts in a separate, smaller set. But of course, they had the cool play feature where you could combine them together, and then each one got a new helmet and some sort of weapon attachment or armor attachment, whatever it was. Each one of them looked fantastic. And for whatever reason, they just combined these 2 and put them into one set. Now, I think Melum was one of the stronger Uniter beasts. He looks pretty cute, and he's somewhat mole-like, which doesn't really make sense for an ice character, but hey, I like it. And I also really like how they combine with Kopaka. That combiner model looks great. The nice buffed up shoulders, it's all pretty cool. But I think Kopaka is the real star of the show here. That mask design with all the qualities of the original mask, but presented in a new refreshing way, and the fact that you can actually put a little system stud on that scope eye, mwah, chef's kiss, so good. The shoulder design is also quite distinct, the nice silver Skrull armor there. It's got a nice energy to it, and it's a really nice design too. If you're struggling for a good shoulder design on one of your Bionicle mocks, just download the instructions for that on lego.com and recreate that, because I think that's a very, very good design. Now, plus Kopaka's weapons, a nice handheld blaster, and this sweet doubled up blade, it's great. And I do like that they added a nice pop of dark blue. It works surprisingly well on Kopaka. Yeah, this is just a really well executed pair. Very nice. And now for number 2. I think this was one that a lot of people might have expected to see in the number 1 spot, but no, not so much. We have Umarak the Hunter. Now look, Umarak is high up for a reason. This dude has like stalker, hunter, killer vibes. This sinister black and trans green and dark red color scheme, and those reindeer horns and a large crossbow, they are evil. And they're villainous. And villainous in a way that's kind of unlike any other villain character from any Construction theme. He has vibes that are so distinct and are just so cool. I love this mask as well. From a distance, it can be a little bit harder to read, and I think elements of the mouth down the bottom, they kind of trail off a little bit, and they could maybe be a bit more refined. But I'm nitpicking, this mask just looks cool. Look, if Construction of any kind ever returned, whether that's Bionicle G3 or Hero Factory 2, I hope that whatever villain character we get has the same vibe and feel as Umarak. It really is the perfect villain. It's something that's just never been done before, and it's something they executed so very well. Like bounty hunter vibes almost, it's great. They really are a great set, but I think there is one that is slightly better. Now, before we get to that number 1 spot, let's cover a few honorable mentions. First up, we got this cool accessory pack. Inside it, you got the Mask of Creation, a booklet or poster of some kind. I don't know, I never had this set, I don't know what that is specifically. And you got this very nice cloth piece. The cloth piece is the main reason I would want this, by the way. Look at it, it's cool. The pattern on it, it kind of looks like some sort of like jungle camouflage or ancient writing. I believe that is meant to be Bionicle writing. Or it could just be some sort of exotic piece of fabric. That's the point of this. You could use it for many different uses outside of its original intention. And that's why this is a good cloth piece. So yeah, I don't own this, I'd love to own this, I hope one day I can, so if I had a time machine, you know I'd go back in time and actually be able to pick this up. Another odd promotional item, this is Akimu's Falcon. Now I believe this set came with one of those LEGO magazines that are like European exclusives. They still release these kinds of sets today. You typically get like a minifigure or a little kind of like polybag build inside instead these days, not Bionicle stuff, sadly. But yeah, I think the design itself is great, yeah, especially for one of those smaller magazine polybag builds, which sometimes they can kind of be a little bit lackluster, the builds are a little bit mid, but this one I think is really solid. And also what I love about this is that you can actually put it on Akimu's arm. The little bottom bits just connect onto a typical CCBS armor piece, it's really good. And hey, this image also shows that exact same cloth piece we saw before and puts it on Akimu. I love that, 2 little accessory packs that elevate what was already a good set into a great set. So yeah, I still don't own this one today, and I'd love to own it. Although, looking at the pieces here, I probably have all those pieces just in my collection normally. There's nothing that appears to be exclusive there, so yeah, maybe I could just build it with what I've already got. Now for Quake Beast, and while we're at it, let's just combine this with the next honorable mention, it's Lava Beast. Now I never had either of these guys. Again, that's because they never came to Australia. I did, however, have Storm Beast. Now, how did I get Storm Beast? Well, I traveled to the US in 2017, the year after these sets came out, and I tried to look for these Bionicle sets in America while I was there. I couldn't find any, but I did find Storm Beast in an old Toys R Us, so I got lucky there. But I'd love to complete the collection and get either Lava Beast or Quake Beast. Now, both of these guys come with some exclusive masks that have that nice half-transparent effect on them. Both of them look really cool, a kind of corrupted version of these Toa masks. Now, Quake Beast also has this cool purple crystallized arm, which looks magnificent, and I do love that interesting printed torso piece that he's got going on there too. Then Lava Beast has these awesome blades sticking out of their arms, so sick. Although, what is this pose in this image here? He's like popping out his leg and showing off his bum. He's like what you see, boys? Such a strange pose. And the final honorable mention, it goes to the creature of jungle known as Uxar. Now, out of all the different Uniter beasts, this one has to be my favorite. And that's because when you combine them with Aliwa, dude, he looks so good. I would say he looks the best out of all of the bunch. And it's all down to those magnificent wings. That lovely transparent color to them, the shape of them, it's just so striking. All of the Uniter beasts were cool, but this one was the coolest. And since you could put all the Uniter beasts onto Umarak, when you put this one on Umarak, he also looked really sick. So the fact that no matter what you put this guy on, they always looked cool, that's a win in my books. And hey, the set itself, with its big lovely claws and its striking bird-like presence, that's great. Alrighty, we go from one of the best Uniter beasts to one of the best Uniter Toa. So this is my favorite set from 2016, and one that I would feel pretty privileged to be able to pick up mint sealed in box back in 2016 when I time travel back. This is Gully Uniter of Water. The orange editions here, they're not only really cool nice pops of color, but the brilliant asymmetry of these pieces, the sharp dynamic lines of these parts, it's so energetic. These could be like pieces of coral that she's picked up from the ocean floor and then she uses them as armor because they're like really surprisingly sturdy and strong. And the orange mixed in with the blue, it mirrors different kinds of like diver suits that you can see in the real world on real swimmers. I just love how the orange pieces here, they feel justified. Because some of the other Toa Uniter characters, in my opinion, sometimes they had too many colors. Like Onawa's mask here, it didn't need to be silver. Everything else on him is gold. If that little bit was gold there, it would have actually paired very nicely with everything else. And as much as I like Kopaka, the gold pieces on his knees, if those were just silver, I think he would have had a much more consistent color scheme. Those little additions and pops of color on those sets, it doesn't really work. But yet the orange edition here, it works flawlessly and it feels so earned to be put onto Gully. I like it when something like that has deeper meaning behind it. I also think that her mask might be my favorite of all of the Uniter masks. It upgrades the original mask in a nice way, but it still feels nice and fresh too. And the way that she combines with her Uniter beast, now she has 2 giant Gatling guns on her back, that's freaking cool. Gully ticks so many boxes that many of the boys in her team simply don't. It's just a really solid design and all round an awesome toy. I do like that staff weapon as well, I didn't talk about that, but it's pretty nice. So hey man, Bionicle G2, the final year of Bionicle? Mate, there was a lot to love. Would you pick up the same sets that I pick up when I travel back in time? Or do you think Umarak the Hunter needs to be taking that #1 spot? Heck, would you just buy 5 Umarak the Hunter sets? I mean, I get it, he's a good set. It's a good idea to be doing that. Well yeah, I'd love to hear your picks and your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much guys, love you tons, happy building, and bye for now.